Welcome to Positive Talk Daily. My name is Mr. Positive. Today on Positive Talk Daily, we're looking at the Samsung Galaxy A16. This is my full 1 month review of the A16. What I like about the phone and what I think needs to be improved on the Samsung Galaxy A16. It's a pretty nice phone overall. It's a very nice package. You're getting triple camera lenses here. You're getting a nice 6.7-inch display here that's an OLED panel. So you really can't go wrong there. Overall, it's a really nice, solid smartphone with really solid specs. There are some things that could be, fixed on the phone. We'll go over that here in just a few minutes. Check out our YouTube page at Mr. Positive Live. You can subscribe to our YouTube page, click on that bell icon, and get notified when we post videos like phone videos or tech reviews or whatever we do here at Positive Talk Daily. Again, we're looking at the A16 5G. We did a video about 2 weeks ago about the phone. Go check out that full review there. We talked about the phone, what I think I like about the phone. This is our full 1 month review. Okay. So far, the phone is pretty solid for the money. And, a lot of people are going to say, well, it's an inexpensive phone. And what you're getting here is about a $200 smartphone. And what I like about what Samsung did here with this $200 smartphone is they gave you a nice large 6.7-inch OLED display, 1080p, 90 hertz refresh rate, and you can reduce it down to 60 hertz to, help with the battery life. Okay. Overall, it's very colorful, very punchy colors. That 90 hertz refresh rate does help with the phone's performance. Overall, I have not seen any, real major slowdowns. Occasionally, there will be a few hiccups here and there. But overall, over the last 30 days of using this phone, actually more than 30 days, the phone's really been decent overall. And the 90 hertz refresh rate really does help make this phone run a lot faster. With One UI, you're able to, maneuver around the phone, no issue whatsoever. You have all your all your toggles and stuff like that, and all your settings. You have all your settings and stuff like that. You even have NFC, Wi-Fi calling. Now, depending on what carrier you purchase this device through, if it's T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, you can get it on almost every carrier right now. There's also always some sort of deal going on. Get it through Cricket or whatever. You can get this phone for free. We got the 128 gig model with 4 gigabytes of RAM. Okay, and then you can do RAM Plus or virtual RAM, and that can actually give you an additional 4 gigabytes of RAM, which gives you 8 gigs. Okay, so it's not that bad, really. You're getting the Exynos 1300 chipset, which is decent. You can also get a version of this phone that has a it's a MediaTek processor. You can get one with a MediaTek chipset. We've got the one with the Exynos chipset, which is Samsung's very own chipset. And overall, it's a really solid phone. Thanks to that 90 hertz refresh rate, it's smooth. It loads everything quick. It does have mono sound speakers. There is no stereo speakers on here. Not sure why, but there isn't. We'll take a little closer look at the phone right now here on Positive Talk Daily. Like I was saying about the Samsung Galaxy A16 5G, this phone has a lot going on for it with that 90 hertz refresh rate. You get everything you need on this phone. You have a decent mono speaker. It's actually really loud. Everything loads fairly quick. You get all your Samsung apps, depending on the carrier you're on. Let me look for the Samsung apps here. You get all your Samsung apps right here. You can see that you have, Find Your Phone, Global Goals, Health, Samsung Health. So you could hook up your phone. You can easily hook up your Samsung Galaxy Watch with this. Members, File, Smart Things, TV. You get all your Samsung Smartwatch, Smart Switch, and Galaxy Gear stuff. So you have the Galaxy headphones. And you get basically all your basic stuff. Turning the phone over, you do have that triple camera lens right there. This is your 50 megapixel camera, your 5 megapixel ultra wide, and a 2 megapixel micro camera. Going around the side, there's nothing here but your SIM removal. On the bottom, you do have Type C. Yes, you got Type C charging here. And then if you turn it over, your power button slash your power button slash fingerprint and your up and down volume rocker. So overall, you're getting a really solid phone here for very little money, really. In my 30 days of using the Samsung Galaxy A16 5G, one of the major issues I had was the fact there is no headphone jack. For some reason, the A15 from last year had a headphone jack. Even the lower end A05 has a headphone jack, but for some reason this year, Samsung figured this year would get rid of the headphone jack. Now you can hook up Samsung Galaxy earbuds to this. If you have a pair of Bluetooth headphones, that will work just fine with this. But I think it's better having the headphone jack because you actually get better sound from actual with wired headphones. You just do, and it's always been that way. A couple of other things I didn't really care for. If you're going to use this phone on 90 hertz refresh rate, you're going to see some. If you are using this phone on 90 hertz refresh rate, your battery life will be pretty poor. I've used this phone after about 5-6 hours of usage, and you're probably going to want to bring this down to 90 hertz refresh rate. I mean, not 90. You're probably going to want to bring this down to 60 hertz refresh rate to get better battery life. And that's what I usually do. I'll turn on, because there is a battery, you can turn a battery mode on that will actually help this phone run a little bit better. Power saving mode. And power saving mode actually will do a pretty good job of conserving that battery life. So if you have this on 60 hertz refresh rate, you'll probably get about 7 to 8 hours of use. If you're running this on 90 hertz, because of the OLED display being 800 nits of brightness, and for some reason I think it's the Exynos chipset too, it just doesn't do as good of a job on battery life as last year's A15 did. Okay, and the A14 as well had better battery. It's the same battery inside the 5,000 milliamp hour battery, but for some reason, if it's the chipset, it just doesn't keep battery as good. So bring that refresh rate down to 60 hertz. Yeah, it's going to seem a little bit less snappy, but you will get better battery life throughout your day. If you're using this as your daily driver, you're going to see better battery life if you do that. The other thing is the sound quality could be better. Even at $200, Motorola is putting stereo speakers on their Moto G series of phones. There's no reason why Samsung could have put a stereo speaker on here so it will sound better. It does get loud. The sound does get fairly loud, and it doesn't sound that bad. But if you put your hand in the way, you can easily block this. As you can see here, I put my pinky in front of it. You can easily block the bottom speaker and microphone if you're talking to somebody. So just be aware of that if you do use this phone or purchase this phone from any of the phone providers we see. Overall, though, my 3 positive things about the phone: the cost, $200. You're getting a really solid deal overall. It was hard to come up with negative things for this phone. Overall, the cameras are really, really good. Number 3, cameras are really solid. For a mid-range, for a $200 smartphone, that's considered budget to mid-range. The cameras are pretty decent. The color accuracy is good. The 50 megapixel camera does a really, really good job with exposure to the skin exposure and stuff like that. The 5 megapixel ultra wide camera does a really good job as well. This bottom camera here, the 2 megapixel micro camera, kind of trashy. It does okay, but outside of that, I think Samsung should get rid of that, or at least upgrade it to a 8 megapixel or a 5 megapixel micro camera. 2 megapixel, I think, is just a waste. A lot of budget phones will do that. A lot of budget companies will put that on their budget phones. overall, picture quality is good. Video recording maxes out at 1080p. At the video recording on this maxes out at 1080p at 30 frames per second. I kind of wish they could have at least put 4K video recording. I don't see why they couldn't. Last year's A25 5G had 4K video recording. For some reason, the A15, this one, they've got pretty much the same cameras. They just don't give you 4K for some reason. I don't know why. Another bummer of the phone is it does not have wireless charging. Samsung should be putting the wireless charging on these devices. When you look at Motorola, Lenovo, even TCL are putting, they're actually putting wireless charging on cheaper devices. Even the company Blue makes phones, bold like us, the company Blue, they're actually putting wireless charging on some of their lower end phones as well. And I don't know why Samsung couldn't have afforded to put wireless charging on here. I think that would have been good. Motorola, Lenovo is putting wireless charging on their Moto G power phones, on their Moto G stylus devices. So I don't know why, even at this is a $250 smartphone if you buy this outright. So, you would think even at $250, Motorola is doing that on a $199 smartphone. You could easily put, wireless charging. So that's another thing. We do get 25-watt fast charging though, so that's not too bad. So that's decent. You get 25-watt fast charging through plugging in the cable. The other downer is for this phone is it only comes with a wire. You only get a wire in the box. That's it. You get the phone, you get the packaging, you get the phone, and you get this. That's it. And you get some booklets. You will get the booklets here, what you see here. You get your booklets, and you got this. That's all you get. Samsung, you need to start putting the charger brick in the box. It only makes sense. All this eco-friendly packaging is just a scam. All these companies trying to get rid of waste. It's just a way to make you go out and spend more money. It's the go green scam, I call it. It's just stupid, and I think people need to do away with it. Again, overall, this phone is a pass. Over the last month, I've used this, taken phone calls, works great. Does have NFC, so if you need a card reader, if you need to use this to pay with Android Pay or Samsung Pay or Google Pay, you can do that thanks to NFC payments on here. Overall, the color accuracy, when you go outdoors, you can see there's some glare, but this has 800 nits of brightness. So for $200, this phone is awesome. You're getting you're getting a 1080p OLED display, 800 nits of brightness, 25-watt fast charging, which is decent. You are getting really solid cameras. I have to give this phone a 7 out of 10. Okay, that's pretty good. 7 out of 10. The only thing it's really missing is wireless charging, maybe better build materials or something like that. But again, the phone it's plastic. It looks more expensive than it shows. Okay, the only thing that's really lacking for it to get a 10 or an 8 or a 9 or a 10 is, again, one of the problems is lack of 4K video recording. Even at $200, you could get away with that. Motorola's putting that on their phones, and TCL, they could do that with this. The fact they got rid of the headphone jack and they had it on last year's model, kind of a bummer as well. Overall, though, I mean, the phone is fast. 90 hertz refresh rate, Exynos 1300 chipset, 5,000 milliamp hour battery. If you take that 90 hertz refresh rate and bring it down to 60 hertz, you will get 8 hours of battery life. If you keep this on 90 hertz refresh rate, you get about 5 to 6 hours of battery life. So just be aware of that. Camera quality, cameras are awesome on here. I'll do a separate review on the cameras on this another day. Overall, this phone is awesome. Can't complain about it. You're getting a pretty good deal here for $200. Samsung knocked it out of the park with this device. It gets a 1 out of 10. We give this a 7. Thanks for watching Positive Talk Daily. Hopefully you learned something about the Samsung Galaxy A16 5G.